Welcome everybody. Y'all ready for this? The Hustle. My name is Stephen Voyce, and these are my co-hosts.
I'm Talia.
And I'm Tech Luciano. You may have heard me on radio, you may have never heard of me at all, but that's okay.
Cause y'all gon' learn today. Your whole life was a struggle, had to make it out the jungle. This is a show for you. Welcome to the hustle, under pressure that will break a foe. Keep chasing your goals until you blow. Now, welcome to the hustle.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Hustle Podcast. And today we have a very, very special guest, Stephen Voyce.
Well, thank you.
Phenomenal musician. I'm still going.
Oh, shit,
You're
my
cutting
bad.
me off just a
My
bit.
bad. My bad.
A phenomenal artist. I've been listening to this guy for a long time. I find he has such a melange of influences. Like sometimes I hear The Weeknd, sometimes I hear Michael Jackson, sometimes I hear the Backstreet Boys. The way you do a song, I'm telling you, it's like phenomenal. Welcome on the show.
Thank you.
For being
Now I can speak now?
Yes, you
Thank
can.
you. Thank you for having me. I ruined the first take, so it's all good. I'm good with that.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. It happens.
Life is full of redos.
No, you know, I like it. Let's keep it. Let's keep it. Let's
Exactly.
not cut that out.
No, of
like,
course
why
not.
is he fumbling everything right now?
Never. Besides music, a lot of people might not know, but Stephen Voyce just directed his first short film. It might be the first, might be more, I'm not sure, but I
Oh
know
my
there's
God.
one out there called Mixed Signals.
Big signals, yes. That was, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you remember, but I was at your house like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
I was there with Adamo Simeone.
Oh my gosh, it's true. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Shout
so
out Adamo.
Time flies. Man.
How's he doing?
He's doing good. He's doing good. He has that track like tucked away. I don't know what the strategy is.
It's all good.
You know how COVID is.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing things at their own pace, and
Yeah.
whenever it comes to fruition, it will come to fruition.
Yeah.
But I wanted to save that till you sat down at this table.
No way.
I wanted to spring that on you.
It's true. I was like, I know you from like we've met.
So when you were
That's
saying,
awesome.
oh, it's good to when you know people.
Yeah.
You actually knew me too, man.
Damn. But see, that's what happened. Like that's what happens with COVID. Like so much. I feel like so much and so little happened in between COVID that like everything before almost feels like a blur. You know. So like it's nice to officially see you again.
Very nice to have you on the show.
I feel like everyone's been drugged these past 2 years. Like everything's just foggy. Like
How about you, Talia? How do you guys know each other?
through the gram.
Music.
Through the ground.
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah.
I like to watch the videos you do with your girl sometimes. You guys are really funny.
The man is. It's funny because like I'm a huge fan of Talia, so I'm just like I'm getting to meet Talia in person.
Oh my god.
Finally, I'm like she's so talented. It had to be said. So kudos to you for being so talented.
Stop
Speaking
it.
of those
Thank
funny
you.
videos that you do with Oro, your girlfriend,
Yeah.
really funny stuff. I remember even watching your series,
Me, Myself, and
Me,
Steve.
Myself, and Stephen. And that was the way you just flip your accents and go from British to regular, and really good series. I
I
liked
don't
it.
know what you're talking about. I don't know which
Is
accent.
that the Nigerian
I
accent?
don't know which one you are talking about.
He's doing it right now.
I'm quite sure.
Are
I'm
you not honored? Like this is amazing.
It's just like I'm not quite sure what it is you're trying to say right now, but like literally, like I have no idea what accent you're talking about.
See, we're getting a little taste of the show right here live.
Let's just all speak in an accent for the rest of the show.
I mean, why not, right? Like life's too short not to.
Cheers to that.
So, you've been making music for let's just say creating art.
Yeah.
You've been creating art for how long, man?
That's the sound I made. I feel like the cliche answer is like, yeah, I was born making music and art, which is true. Like I was born in a household that was a big fan of Michael Jackson, which is why the influence. But to be honest, I feel like I started taking my music career anyway seriously it was in 2010. I'm gonna go dark, but like it was after my mom passed. I knew I had this skill and this talent, and I didn't really do anything with it. But after she passed, I used it as a way to kind of cope. I turned to music, to songwriting as a way to kind of release all these emotions inside of me. And I remember releasing some songs on like SoundCloud and things back then, and people listening to the songs and telling me, hey, I listened to your song and I'm going through something similar, and you're knowing that someone else is going through what I'm going through made me feel like I'm not alone. And I think that's where, for me, music became more than just something that I was good at to something that I needed to do, because it was more than just about me. It was about being able to share feelings and communicate with other people without even meeting them.
So basically, a great way to creatively express yourself,
Yeah.
an outlet to to shine to the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Very
feel
nice.
like that's super important, especially as an artist, that you can become relatable to someone else without even knowing, you know, like
Yeah.
being online and being in the age of like everything's online and done online. You meet so many people and connect with so many people without even knowing them or meeting them and seeing them. Like we've connected online.
Yeah.
And you know who I am, I know who you are, and now we're meeting in person, which is amazing, especially after all this COVID and all this stuff. But like, it's super important to be relatable with your audience, and it feels good to know that you have something to say for certain people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, definitely.
100 billion%.
As far as getting into the whole directing aspect and everything like that, because we're gonna touch back a little on the music, a little bit here, a little bit back and forth, since
Yeah.
there's so many things to talk about.
Yeah.
There was this movie that was supposed to get made, I think maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, called The Hunter.
Yeah.
You were attached to this
How
project.
do you know so much?
Because I was supposed to be the assistant director on that project.
Like you researched the hell out of me.
So I was looking forward to having the readings and everything.
Yeah.
But
He's gonna pull out your credit score
I
soon.
know. He's like, and so it turns out that you're not really doing well right now, Steve. I'm like, damn.
so yeah, The Hunter.
Yeah.
You were supposed to play a Gypsy King.
Yeah.
Well, I heard, like, I didn't get to see your what's it called, rehearsal or anything like
Yeah.
that, but I heard it was really intense.
It was so much fun.
I heard you and your girlfriend really like nailed these characters, and I was so looking forward for this thing to actually being completed.
Yeah.
And something coming about it. Maybe it will happen in the near future. I'm not sure.
I hope it does.
I hope it does.
I really hope it does. Because like when we did the rehearsal and we got to act and play fight, because there was a fight scene we're doing, and I was just so into it. I was just so into. I was so excited for that one. There's a bunch of movies and TV shows that I'm attached to or was attached to that were supposed to film during COVID, and courtesy of COVID, they all just kind of
That's the thing.
dissolved, and I'm not sure where they are right now.
That's one of the issues too. And I know Manny, who's basically producing the whole thing,
Yeah.
not directing it, but he wrote it.
Yeah.
He invested a lot of time into this.
Yeah.
So it's something that he will not
No.
one way or another is gonna get made.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I have no doubt it's
Yeah.
gonna happen. It just is a matter of when at this
So
point.
who knows? Maybe it'll age with time, and you're gonna reprise a role as a 45-year-old Gypsy King. Or
Ain't that
something.
wrong?
That's
I
it.
have a question about that. How is it like play fighting with your girl? Because like you have to embody the character, right? You have to feel the emotion. So you just like think back of like, remember that time we're in bed and you put your cold feet on me, and you start getting mad and like how is that?
Well, luckily I didn't have to fight her in the scene. It's more like I cannot spoil anything, but something happens and I react to her, but I get to fight Manny.
Yeah.
So that was just like, me and him, we've been friends for a long time, so the play fighting was just like whatever. We're not afraid to hurt each other.
Right.
But no, if I had to play fight with Aura, I'd be so afraid to not want to hurt her. I'd just be very delicate, but she wouldn't do the same to me. She would go hard all in it. She's not gonna hold back.
Camera tricks too, you speed up some shots.
Yeah.
She's like, wait, you can
Right
fake this?
angles.
Oh
Right
shit, sorry,
angles,
man.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, so that would have been an experience. There was also, I think we had to be out of the city for quite a bit of time too.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
There was a lot of factors that were in play. And like I mentioned, hopefully it does come back into play very soon and this project does get completed, because it would be nice to see something that you've worked on and you put some effort into
Yeah.
finally see the light of day.
Yep. 100%.
So hopefully that happens.
And the
Manny,
characters-
we're waiting for you.
And the character was so much fun. I don't want to spoil anything, but because he gave me kind of range to kind of develop the characters I wanted to, so I incorporated the African Steve from
Yeah.
Me, Myself, and
That was
Steve.
good.
I brought him in there, but made a darker version of that character. So that was a lot of fun. So I really want to play that character. It needs to happen. It needs to happen. Universe.
What other projects are you working on film-wise? Anything that you're directing yourself, anything that you've written, or just
Yeah.
other projects that you're attached to?
Yeah, in terms of films, there's a project I after Mixed Signals, the first short film I directed, I got the taste of it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, this is fun. I need to dive further in. So I started, and I'm the kind of person where if I do something I really like it, the next thing I do has to be way beyond the first one. Because the first one was a low comedy, so that was easy to
It was a simple concept.
Easy.
The location, easy execution,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean?
straightforward.
So I can totally understand that the next one you want it to be a little more unique or a little more intricate
Yeah.
in a way?
I
whatever
wanted
it
to
is?
challenge me.
Yeah.
I wanted the second like the same way when I'm writing songs now. Like I don't just like write lyrics and call it a day. Like I like things to interplay and dance around each other and sounds doing this and that. So I treat film the same way. Like in my head, I need things to kind of play around. So the next one is I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's sci-fi. So the budget like goes from like where it was to like way higher, and it's a lot more detailed and intricate. But like I'm excited about that one. We've been sitting on it for like now 2 years. So this is the year that we're gonna finally film it, and my plan, Students of the Universe, is to create a short series of sci-fi concepts that relay around human interactions on a more personal level and pitch them to Netflix and things like that. So we'll see what happens.
I think as long as you just make a couple of what do you call them? Spec videos or
I
whatever.
don't know what they're called. Yeah,
So
proof of concept or whatever.
Yeah, like a concept video, and you shop it around, and you have good execution, good story, and you have the right quality for these platforms.
Yeah.
They are buying it.
Yeah.
They are buying it. It's just you have to have the right format
Yeah.
and everything. You have to have the whole package has to be complete, basically.
It all has to be there. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, I want to go all in. So yeah, this year is going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully nothing too crazy happens that prevents anything from happening. But either way,
Yeah.
I'm going to make it happen.
That's what I can say about mixed signal. I like the color. The audio was good.
Yeah.
Angles were good.
Yeah.
The story's there. Like, it's a good little short story.
Yeah, it was just like a fun
I
little-
liked it when she was leaning in. It's basically it's a mixed signal situation,
Yeah.
right? So she leans in. They're leaning in to kiss each other, and right towards the end, it's like going super slow, and then she just high fives them.
Oh, the high five moment.
The high five moment.
We won an award for that short film, specifically for that moment. Like I forgot what the award was. But
Most
like,
awkward
Most
moment.
awkward
That's
moment.
amazing.
It was fun, man. It was so much fun. Like I honestly, when we shot that, because we shot it, and again, my first short film, and it was in 2000. I'm gonna say 19, 18, one of those two. In ACTRA, the acting union of Canada, in Montreal, they have their annual movie festival, and we got nominated as one of the best movies of like that year. I'm just like, really?
Yeah, you'd be surprised, dude.
short
It's,
film?
they're looking at what I just mentioned. They want to see good color. They want to see good angles. They want to see good audio, good execution,
Yeah.
and the story as well. Don't get me wrong, but it's the complete package. And like you said, it was probably that moment too,
Yeah.
because it caught me off. Like I'm watching it and then high five
I want to watch this. Where can we watch it?
on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on
YouTube?
YouTube.
It's on
Yeah,
YouTube.
it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Did that come from a personal experience or something like that?
Always. Every single thing in my life is based on the moments, and as cool and composed as I seem right now, I wasn't always this way. No, I was the guy in high school. I was the guy in high school that girls would say like, yeah, we'll go on a date. But like I'm the smart guy. I was a smart guy in high school. So they'd be like, could you help me with my homework? And I'd help them. And then, once I gave it to them, they'd be like, oh, it turns out that like I'm busy.
Friend zone.
So I was that guy.
Getting friend zone.
I was that guy. So no, I wasn't always cool. So all the awkward moments of my life, they come from somewhere. I'm still awkward right now. Don't even.
I totally wouldn't have. Actually, looking at you and speaking with you, I can tell the intelligence in your body.
Thank you.
So I can definitely see that you were more on the, say, not in a geeky way, but more on the nerdy side.
Oh, nothing
right?
wrong with that.
Right.
I'm straight up a nerd. I'm like, when I'm bored, I do math. Like I do I do calculus. Like
What's wrong
Gets
with
you
you?
sleepy.
I love anything that has to do with science and
Someone's like math. I'm like, read the shirt.
you're like no, no thanks.
No.
No, like I love all things analytical and also all things creative. So I know like when I grew up, when I was growing up, people said that there's no way for you to exist in both realms. But like I was like, no, like they both, for me, they both speak to each other. So
True.
I can't live with one without the other. Like if I only did science and math, I'd get bored because I'm not being creative. But if I only did creative stuff, I'd feel like, what about the other side of myself? I need to satiate all parts of me.
There must have been a moment like up in high school or after high school that you just decided, you know what, I'm gonna, because you're spewing confidence right here.
Well, thank you.
You know what I mean?
It's the shirt.
It's the shirt, it's the hairstyle, it's you exude confidence.
It's the calculus.
It's a calculus.
That too, it could be that. But what do you think was the moment that turned you and you said, you know what, I'm gonna just do what I want to do, and I'm not gonna care what anybody else has to say?
Honestly, it's I want to say it's after my mom passed, but it's not even true. After that, I was still kind of, and I still did things because I felt like I needed to kind of cater to people, and even till this day, there's some moments where I feel like I exhibit codependent tendencies, and that's something I've been working on. Like I'm not gonna ashamed to say this. I see a therapist. I was seeing a therapist, and I talk about these codependent traits of mine because I've allowed it in my life to push me down roads that I didn't really want to go to, but out of fear of making someone feel bad or feeling like I'm gonna feel abandoned.
I know what you mean.
Kind of just
I know
do
what you mean.
Yeah.
So
So like in some aspect, when it comes to my creativity and who I am as a person and my look and what I want to exude as a being, that's something that like for a long time I've got there, like because after my mom passed and I've been through all the darkness, I know how low life can get you. There's no point trying to be apologetic for who you are as a person. Like if this is who you are, you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting anyone, then it's no one's business to tell you who you can and can't be. But when it comes to interpersonal relationships, I'm still learning on how to be a better version of myself and put myself first.
Okay, no, that's deep. That was
That
really
is.
deep. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, yeah,
with
of
us.
course, of
Even
course.
the whole therapist thing, a lot of people would like to keep certain things personal, but
Yeah.
I think it's healthy to talk about it.
Absolutely.
There's no point. You're not alone in this. There's plenty of people in this similar situations.
Yeah.
So I think it's healthy that you do talk about it and you do make it's awareness.
Yeah.
Especially for a man, because like I feel like a lot of men, they just go through things and they
That's
think
exactly.
like it's just engraved in their head, like I have to be the man, I have to, I can't show emotion, I can't this, but like we know you guys feel shit, we
Yeah.
know you guys go through it too. Like you don't have to be so hidden from your emotions or
Yeah.
like put it off because you feel like there's a way a man needs to be. So it's nice that you're speaking about this
you.
openly.
Yeah, it's I think it's the new generation that we're living in.
Yeah.
That people are more comfortable speaking about their feelings,
Yeah.
which is very healthy. And I've known too many people in too many situations that if they could have talked to somebody in the past, it would have changed their life.
Yeah.
Some people would still be here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think we're on a right path as men today.
To not be afraid.
Yeah, not to be afraid to cry or anything. And what you mentioned too about codependency.
Yeah.
Hurting somebody else's feelings,
Yeah.
and you're staying in a relationship that you don't want to stay in, but you just feel like you don't want to hurt their feelings. There's also that connection that you need company with you every single day, or like it's the codependency factor.
Yeah.
And I think we all have to learn to love ourselves first.
Yes.
And as soon as you love yourself, you'll be able to love somebody else, and that's the healthiest way to go about it.
Yeah. You should cut that part and put it on Instagram. It's like, bam.
It's all gonna be. We have so many moments on Instagram.
So many moments.
Yeah. Talia, did you want to add something into this?
I just think that this is going a good direction. I'm really liking where this conversation's at. So,
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
but how about the music? What have you been working on the music side of things?
Yeah, there's some songs I want to talk about definitely.
Sweet. Well, it's funny because like before 2020, prior to that, I had released. I had switched from Voice to Stephen Voyce. It was a whole rebranding. So we can get into that later if you want to. But like, but as Voice, I had to put out 4 albums, and when I transitioned to Stephen Voyce, and I wanted to kind of jump into all aspects of who I am as an artist, I was wrestling with the idea of putting out an album again, and for some reason, it just wasn't sitting with me. And then when the pandemic hit, I was just like, rather than put out albums, why don't I just release single after single after single, and then just kind of do it throughout the whole year? So 2020, every single month, I released 1 or 2 singles, and I just kept dropping songs. I was just like, it felt better because like I felt like before that, like there's nothing wrong with doing albums. Maybe one day I'll go back to doing it, but the idea of sitting on a song for so long, and then by the time it comes out, you're like, I'm not even there anymore. Like it doesn't seem. It doesn't feel right for me anymore. So like, I love that I can create music and it can come out as quickly as I create it. So yeah, 2020, I released like 1 to 2 songs a month. 2021, I took a little break and released only a lot less. But this year, I'm getting back into like full swing. We just dropped the new song, Not Your Type with Jess
Not Your
Gibran.
Type. That was a great song.
Thank you.
I really like the message behind it as well.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So we just dropped that one, and I'm already working on the next ones, the next ideas for music videos, and get those out as quickly as possible.
I heard another track that was one I really like was because anytime I put on your music, like I can clean up around the house, I can have a drink, you know what I mean? It just puts me in a nice hype mode. It's a nice upbeat
I'm
music.
good with that. Yeah.
It's clubby, you know what I mean? I like it. Promised Land.
Yeah. Promise Land.
Promised Land.
Yeah.
That song I really like, Promised Land.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes it's you don't need to say a lot in a song, you know what I mean? You just need a few certain phrases.
Yeah.
And then just embed it in my head.
Yeah.
Keep saying it and stuff like that.
Take me to Promised Land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to go to Promised Land.
You want to.
Yeah.
I love that song. It's like it's the message. It's about owning your power and saying like I deserve to be where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's about saying like I've been through all of the heavy stuff. Like in the song I say like all the shades of gray were a price to pay. Like I paid my dues.
Mm-hmm.
I deserve to be living in full color right now. So here I am in Promised Land.
Dope.
Yeah.
And there was that other song, Lustful Thoughts.
Oh, which one?
Lustful.
Oh, which one is that now? I have so many
I
songs.
think it's like from a year ago, maybe.
Yeah, I have so many
He's
songs.
like, I don't even know my
I
own
really
shit.
like the vibe on that.
Yeah.
There's the other one with Avix.
Yeah, that's Abby Stick.
Abby Stick.
She's a amazing producer. We remade Michael Jackson's In the Closet.
I knew I was hearing that Michael Jackson.
That's Michael
influence.
Jackson. Yeah. She reached out to me on socials, and she was like, "Yeah, I would like your sound. Would you like to work on a song together?" And I was like, "Yeah," because I like your sound. And then she said, "Yeah, would you like to work on a remix of one of Michael Jackson's songs?" And I said, "Yes, we should, because that's the reason I sing." And then she asked me which one, and the song In the Closet. It's one of his like more obscure like songs, but it's still one of his mainstream.
I
obscure.
didn't even know it was Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
Good.
And
Yeah.
but I my mom was such a massive fan of Michael, so like I listened to like all of his albums in the car when she's driving. So like I knew that song and I loved it. So I told her that one. She was like, she didn't know which one it was, but then she got into it, she produced it, and then she sent it back to me. I recorded the vocals, and now I have a song that's a remix of Michael Jackson's song. It's madness.
Awesome.
Like I can say I have a song that was Michael Jackson's song out now. I'm just like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Crazy what you could do with music.
Nuts.
Do anything.
sneaking into the playlist too and just tell people it's Michael Jackson.
Yeah, this is by the way. Yeah, because she did a podcast recently, and she was saying how when she got the vocals back, she literally thought I just took Michael's vocals and just sent them back to her. She was like, "You just trying to cheat me right now?" I was like, "No, this is me."
And how do you find these people? Like you said, online, right?
Yeah.
Do you have like I know there's duets or something like that. Like people do duets or
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, it's on TikTok and I think Instagram Reels now. Like, no, like to be honest, it's just like I think just because I do what I do, I'm so forward about it online that you know other creators we tend to just find each other. Like Talia, for example, I came across her profile, or I don't know whose, but one of us came across the other person's profile, and now we know each other, and it's just that. It's just I think it's so important to put yourself out there and not be afraid to show your art or show your process because that's how you connect. Like if you're not being true to who you are, people can't know who you are. You know, so be true, put it out there, and the world will somehow connect the dots.
You know what? You'd be surprised. Like a lot of solid relationships and like loyal relationships and long-lasting relationships can come off of social media.
Yeah.
So
I know enough people that they're working with producers overseas and people that they've never met before in real life, and they have like such a strong bond when it comes to creating that it's key. Now internet, so you don't have to be meeting people in person anymore.
Yeah. No,
Eventually you do want to meet them in person just so you can say, I really we connect, we're friends and stuff like that. But if we can only do this online, it'll still work.
That's it.
I
think I figured out the song you're talking about, Summerlust.
That's it.
I was like, what is Lustful
I
Thoughts?
was gonna say lustful,
this whole time.
I was gonna say Lustful Summer.
This whole time in my head, I'm like, what is this song?
Yeah, Summerlust. We got Summerlust.
close enough.
Alice. Lustful Thoughts. No.
Summerlust.
But yeah, let's just take that out.
I mean, I'm cool with keeping that in.
No, we don't cut anything.
It makes it real. I forget my own songs sometimes. I forget my lyrics. Sometimes on stage, I'll perform and I'll forget my lyrics. I'll just make something else up on the spot. And like that, I'll look in the crowd. It's like one or two people are looking at me like, I know what you did there.
I caught that.
I'm like, cool. I'm happy you did. So what?
As far as like music, and we didn't talk anything about performing.
Okay.
Give us some performing stories, or what have you done in the past? Like
Yeah.
any big venues or
Yeah, I've done like well, I'm gonna start with
worldwide touring?
let me start with the weakest one, shall we? Shall we? Because that's more fun. It was like it's like early in my career, and I was working with a producer. His name is Sooks. He's really talented, and we had worked on a bunch of songs together. And then he called me one day. He was like, "Yeah, you got booked for a show. It's like, and I forget where it is, but it was out of town." And he's like, "He got booked." And I was like, "Sweet." And it's like, "Yeah, let's go do this." It was like I had done shows before that, but like smaller things. Like this was more of like a bigger, smaller show. So I was super excited. So we got into the car. We drove down. It was like it was me and him and another artist and one other person, and I invited someone else, like a friend, and they drove down too. So we went down. I was super excited. We got there, and showtime came. The only person in the crowd was the person I brought. The
No.
only person in the crowd. I was just like, you know what? I'm here. So I performed as though there are millions of people in the crowd. I was just like, whatever, we're gonna get good footage out of this. But yeah, it was such a humbling experience because I had a moment where it was like, okay, I can say screw this, I'm not gonna do this, or I can just make the best of it. So we made the best of it, and ever since then, I'm so proud and so happy I did that because nothing musically can faze me anymore. Like I'm not afraid to mess up or make a mistake because I'm just like, look, I have performed for one person, and that person was my friend. Okay, I have done that, so I'm good.
What event was this?
It was like a festival, and I forget what it was about. To be honest, I don't remember. All I remember after performing is that I went rope climbing and I cut my hand open.
Oh, no.
So it was a good day.
Like, what the fuck?
But it was, like I said, it was one of the experiences where I'll forever have that story. And but no, one of the biggest ones I did was actually, it was like in Vegas. I was invited to come perform at some conference, and like it was like 8,000 people. And it was just massive. First of all, I got flown to Vegas. I was put in the Venetian, and like the hotel room was just like, I can't even deal.
Very nice.
I cannot deal. I'm gonna say it right
You got
now.
a taste of the
I
life.
can't deal. Put in the Venetian, and like I performed, it was like one song, and but like they gave us such a massive budget. I flew over. Her name is Sarah Stebbins. She's an amazing choreographer and dancer. I flew her down. We paid her to get some dancers and put together a set. So like it was a full on show, and like it was just like I was just living the life. I was just living the moment, and it was just massive. So when I was doing that show, I remember looking back to like that other show I did where it was like one person in the crowd, and I just said, like, you see, like you stick with it, like
You're like, this is what I want from now on.
This is what I want. This is the level. This is the no. Actually, my dream is to do a show and be just encapsulated by people all around, and there's a spotlight, and I'm singing with a piano, and it's just like that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
John Legend shit.
John
right
Legend.
there.
That's what I want.
Excellent.
It's gonna happen. But yeah, that first show definitely gave me all the experience I need in life. I feel as a musician. I feel like in that moment I was like, I'm ready. I've been through it all. Let's do it.
Do you have this moment that like when you perform at shows that you just see that one friend in the crowd and that's it? Like that from now on, like you just
Make
envision
contact
that
with
one
that
friend.
one person.
It's like, when you envision people naked, you're like, no, just remember that one friend that was there the first time.
Yeah, I was like, hey Kim, I see you. I see you.
I just blur out everything. I'm like, I don't know who to look at.
Yeah, I feel like every once in a while, like you blur. Because it's to say, yeah, I blur at everyone, but every once in a while, like you'll just see someone, and it's like, you'll just fixate on that one person, and for like a solid 10 minutes, they're just like, why me? You're like, I'm sorry, it is what it is.
I know how that feels. Like, when I'm at a show or something, and I'm in the crowd, and someone's like just looking at me, and I'm like,
You're like, oh, okay.
I don't know if I like this or not. Like,
I'm uncomfortable now. I'm so sorry. But no, but like, honestly, performing is, I love performing. I love performing because like as you perform a song, you don't even realize that the song, it changes so much from the way you started performing at the beginning to like where it gets to in the end. Like, it's not even the same song. Like, there's some songs I've performed, and like when I listen back to the actual song, I'm like, oh yeah, that's how that goes. Like, oh, that's the melody. Oh, that's the harmony. I was doing something else completely different because I've been going to vibe. So yeah, no, I love performing. It just takes you on a different level.
Yeah, look, I think when you got the voice, you can do whatever you
You
want.
gotta
can
do it.
Write it.
of course he's got the
Yeah.
voice. It's in his name.
It's in the name.
That's right. That's right.
The question is, do you got the moves? Like when you are you moving around on the stage?
Oh
or-
yeah, yeah. I need to.
You ever lose breath when you're on stage?
Oh, absolutely.
I have a trick for you.
What is that?
When you're like you're out of it, move the microphone away, but like do a dance move and then
See,
catch your breath.
That's smart.
I've done that so many times where I'm just like, oh fuck. Okay.
I do the thing where like I turn around
Yeah.
and I come back and people are all like, "Oh man, that's a cool move." I'm like, "Yes,
Yeah, it's a move.
cool move."
I would suggest the 360 spin, but you know,
Then you get dizzy.
You're like, "Oh, hold on, guys."
I mentioned that I heard like some boy band influence.
Yep.
in that. I'm not mistaken, right?
No, I was
It's
a
the
huge
formula.
I was
We're
a
hitting
huge fan of the Backstreet Boys and like NSYNC, which I was super proud when Justin Timberlake like broke off on his own and became Justin Timberlake. I was like, I knew
JT,
it.
man.
I knew there was something there, Justin.
Were you happy when you got rid of the ramen noodle hair?
Uh,
I mean, like,
he looks. I mean, like he's had his hair phases.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that hair phase was my favorite. But you know, who am I to judge anyone on their hair? Like, you know what? Like, do you live your life? But like, no, I think Justin's like, he's not a person that I really look up to as an artist. I'm just like, he just went off and he did his thing, and it's just really dope.
I feel like he really made a name for himself.
Yeah,
Like,
true. Yeah.
Leaving NSYNC was like the best thing he could have done for himself.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk bad about NSYNC.
No.
Like, who the fuck am I? But
I don't know who any of the other
Justin
guys in
Timberlake,
NSYNC are.
he did so much stuff. Like even his collaborations with hip hop artists with these songs. That like one of my favorite songs is "The Nature."
Yeah.
With Talib Kweli.
Yeah.
And JT.
Yeah.
That hook I can.
Yeah.
It gets me. It hypnotizes me.
Yeah.
When I hear it. You know what I mean? It's so deep. I don't know if he actually wrote the lyrics. I hope you did, JT.
I don't know.
But
I
it's
don't know.
very good stuff.
But I always like every time I think of Justin, I always think of Pharrell because like Pharrell was like a big influence of like
True.
his first album was essentially Pharrell and like a little bit of Timbo.
Yeah.
But like Pharrell like really put himself into that album, and you can hear like in the Justified album, you
Bring
really,
Sexy Back. And
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Sexy Back. Oh yeah,
Sure.
Sexy Back.
Right.
Wasn't
Was
that
that?
that was Timbo?
Oh, it's Timbo.
That's-
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's still same era,
I say
right?
Timbo like I know him.
Still
That was
same era?
Timbo.
Yeah, that's my boy,
That was
bro.
Timbo.
Like,
It was the
fuck?
same era, the same sound almost.
Yeah, that was in Future Love Sex Sounds.
Yeah.
That's right. I know his albums.
Yes.
Massive fan.
Like whenever you mention these type of songs or anything, it like literally brings me back to clubbing days.
Yeah.
When that's all you're listening to was JT. Every time you go to a club, there was Sexy Back.
Yeah.
And a few other ones, but he was like dominating back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I still love Cry Me a River.
Oh, that's
That
Me a
song
River,
comes
yeah.
on and I'm
There
just
you go.
like,
cool.
oh, I get in my bag. Like,
Like there's even speaking of Cry Me a River, there's this because in Greece, what's going on right now, which I think it's been going on forever, but I've only noticed it recently, is that a lot of artists are just copying English. Like the whole, basically the template of the song. And there's like this Greek song, this rapper, and it's Cry Me a River. Like, from A to Z. It's like, it sounds like Cry Me a River. The flow is Cry Me a River, but the lyrics are not Cry Me a River. So I'm like, fuck.
you're like,
See,
okay.
everybody's just copying.
You're like, I
JT.
see what you did there. Every time Cry Me a River like comes in my playlist, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I'm walking in slow motion.
Yeah.
And there's rain. There's rain around me for some reason, and I'm just walking in slow motion.
You're in the car, like as a kid in the backseat, like,
Yeah.
As far as movie influences, like what movies have you been watching or that you've watched growing up as a young child that basically shaped your way of looking at movies?
Honestly, I think I can't say it's a movie. I watched a lot of movies as a kid, but I can't say it's the movies that I watched as a kid that shaped my influence is as a artist, as a filmmaker. I think it was more video games I played that
Sci-fi,
influenced.
right? So-
Yeah, like Final Fantasy VII. Like playing that, and in my head I could envision how like it would look if it was a movie. But I think it's Christopher Nolan in my more adulthood that
Okay.
really influenced like my art direction as a filmmaker. Maybe not Mixed Signals because that's not Christopher Nolan not the same. But yeah, it started with the Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and then Inception and all that stuff, and Interstellar. I just love the way he creates, and I love the way he works with Hans Zimmer to score his movies, and it's just like I just love that. It just feels like you just get enveloped into the movie.
aesthetic too. Like,
Yeah, it's so grand and yet so classy. I can't explain it. It's just so Christopher Nolan, and I just love that look. So that's the kind of idea I have in my mind. I'm not trying to copy him, obviously, but like I have that aesthetic in my brain when I think about filmmaking.
Yeah, it's not like you said, it's not copying. It's more like paying homage. It's more it is your influence.
Yeah.
It's something that you would like to try to recreate.
Yeah.
Not exactly the same, but
Unless you go to Greece, then you could copy him.
The birds.
Then you could copy him.
The birds.
that's a good one. Like,
Sorry.
how did you get into making the series, Me, Myself, and Steven?
I mean, oh yeah. That one started. It's funny because like how it started and where it ended up were completely different things. Like when I first started it, like it wasn't because if you in the series, it's well because I recently just ended it. But in the series, it's always a story about me as a person going through what I go through as a human being, whether it's as an artist or as a creator, or as just as a human being going through things. And then there's these two other characters, the Niger and Steve, who's like more wise, and then you have people coined him the British Steve, who's more the dark side and more like sinful, so to speak. But it's always been a way of me to deal with issues and find some sort of moral ground to kind of push that story forward, but also add comedy to it. So that's where it ended. Okay. Where it started was me going like, I can do these accents. I want to make something for Instagram, because I love acting and I don't know what to do. So I just wrote this little skit called Me, Myself, and Steve, and it was me acting as myself. And it wasn't. If you watch the first episode, it doesn't have anything to do with the rest of them because I didn't have an idea.
It was just you're winging it.
I was just like, I'm like, this is me, and then African Steve is gonna say what he's gonna. I say African Nigerian Steve is gonna say what he's gonna say, and then British Steve is gonna say what he's gonna say, and that's it. So it was just like unrelated, just random whatever, just because I thought it was funny. And then as it went on, for some reason, the characters just developed personalities. Like I didn't give them I didn't start the thing going like, yeah, Nigerian Steve is wise, British Steve is gonna crack jokes about porn all the time. I had none of these things in my head. But as time went on, it just became this natural progression to the point that when I would write the scripts, I would write I'd have the idea of what the first character would say. I would write it down, and then in my head, they would just respond to the point that they're their own life, they're their own beings. Yeah, like they know what they're gonna say, and if I write something that's not for them, they know. Like they'll like that's not gonna work,
Isn't that like a personality disorder?
Yeah, perhaps. I don't know.
This one spoke to me, and then this one spoke.
This
you know what? We're just glad you're in therapy right now.
Like, so Steve, do you need help? Perhaps.
And how many episodes were you putting out? Like, was it weekly? Was it bi-weekly? How long did it take to write? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I started. At first, it was weekly, and that was like the first year. I did 3 years. The first year was weekly, and then I switched to bi-weekly because like as a creator, I want to do other things, and I don't like the idea of like because I would release them every Friday, which meant that I would film on Thursday, and I would write them before that. And honestly, it didn't take long to write or even really film or edit. But it was just like it was a dedicated time slot every week that I felt like was taking away from other things I wanted to do. So I moved it to bi-weekly so I wouldn't start hating it. Okay. And it's honestly it's in the third year, which just ended in 2021. When I was ready to end it, I knew like a year before that I was ready to let it go, just because I felt like I had said everything I wanted to say, and I didn't want to get to the point where it just kind of felt like I was just rehashing content for the sake of putting it out there. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to give this an ending. And I feel like I gave it a beautiful ending.
I have to see it. I don't know how it ended.
You know what? It's okay. I'm not going to spoil it, but
I would catch them on Insta. You know what I mean? Here and there. I always like them.
You like, there it is. But yeah, I think it was a beautiful send-off for the characters. I thought it was fitting. I was also fitting for who I am as a person. So I think it made sense.
You got closure.
I did.
That's the most important thing in a series. Like if you just, what I hate if I'm watching a show, man, it was really good. Then after like this first season ended, you're like, I can't wait for season 2. Yeah. And then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, they got canceled. And you're never gonna find out what happened to these guys.
Well, I couldn't. It's not like it's gonna be like, Netflix canceled your show, Steve. It's like, no, if I canceled, it was me. Yeah. Like I'm so unfortunately, Stephen canceled the show. You're Stephen. Yeah, I can't do anything about it. So no, I gave it this ending, and it was the ending I wanted, and it didn't end on some random like cliffhanger. It just ended where it needed to end, and that's it. And if ever, I know people want me to bring the show back. Like I've been getting a lot of DMs and from people that really love the show, going like, really? Yeah. Why? So I always tell them like you never know, but if I do bring it back eventually, it will have to be on a much bigger scale. Yeah. Like I'm talking like it'll have to be like something on like I said, Netflix, and it won't be like a 2-3 minute show. It'll be like a half an hour. But until then, I want to create a thing.
The majority of the show is like in your house, no? Your apartment?
Yeah, exactly. And if at that point I want to make it much bigger, flesh out the characters, but right now I really want to do other things. And I think as an artist, it's important to be allowed to go do other things, and I feel bad for artists when they feel like their fans hold them back from doing what they want to do. You have to sometimes say like, I know you guys like this, but I want to go explore some rock, so I'm going to do that. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but like,
Yeah, you don't want to be, let's say, just an example, like the guy George Costanza from Seinfeld. Like, he's known as George Costanza.
it.
Do you see him in anything else that you're like, oh, it's George? No, it's George Costanza.
Yeah.
So you got typecast.
Typecast, yeah.
And basically, you just didn't want to pigeonhole yourself.
I did not want to.
You want to keep the creativity open.
Yeah.
Whatever comes your way, you want to actually be able to do it, and you don't want to drag something out just for the sake of dragging
Just
it
because.
out. Yeah.
Just because reasons, you know? That's what it feels like. I feel like a lot of people, that's the sad thing about a world that is so fixated on views and engagement and stuff, is that you end up, rather than creating things for the sake of creating things to get to be seen, you start off with the goal is to be seen, and you work your way down. So it's like, okay, people really like this, so I want to make something just like that, as opposed to like, I want to make something from the soul and put it out there, and then if people respond to it, great, and if they don't, I can fine tune from there. But like, don't create things because it's already working, because then what are you even doing? You're just repeating and regurgitating. Where's the fun in that? In my opinion.
True. That's
We
true.
lost sight of the like creativity
Yeah.
and like what was fun about it to begin with.
Yeah.
So
I think honestly, it bothers me that we live in a world where we call art content.
Yeah, it fucking really
Yeah.
pisses me
We're
off.
just like, yo, you creating new content? Yes, I'm creating a new song.
Content.
It's not content. Dang it.
Well, it is what it is. It's content. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But from a creative perspective, let's say you're making music and stuff like that, I can see where you're gonna be like, dude, I put so much time and effort into
Yeah.
this. It's not content.
Yeah, can you imagine
Yeah.
like being in the studio recording a song and someone walks in and goes like,
Oh,
yo,
it's beautiful content, bro.
great content creator you got there. I'm just like,
I think it's all like a setup because we're heading toward like a world of like NFTs and all that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like that's why we classify everything as content now, because everything's going digital and
yeah.
heading a different route. So
Did
unfortunate.
did you buy your virtual real estate yet?
No, I haven't
Ready
done
to
it.
build
have
your
you been
house?
to the metaverse?
I haven't been to the metaverse yet. I've been a little too busy for that. But like, I mean, to be honest, it's something I'm looking into. But like, I'm taking my time with that one because I just feel like,
I you know what, I genuinely don't understand that concept. Like I get it, I'm like a millennial or whatever, but like I don't understand the concept of like having like property in a virtual world or buying practically a PDF version of content online. Like I don't understand that. Why are we heading that direction? Like we're losing such touch with like being human.
yeah,
We're becoming cyber freaks, like literally cyber freaks. Like, hey, did you see my house online? I bought it for this much crypto, and
Cost me $500,000 to move
I
in
have
next to
a
Snoop Dogg.
dug-in pool. Like,
It's $500,000 to get a lot next to Snoop
like
Dogg's
how?
virtual
Like
house.
that makes
Really?
like
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
I don't get it. Me
It's
neither.
not tangible. You can't even touch it. Like, what the fuck?
yeah.
I don't understand. I think the world, like, everyone's very sick in the head.
Do you think in
everything's-
20, 25 years we're not gonna be sitting together on a table and we're literally gonna be in the metaverse?
We're gonna be plugged into a helmet,
yeah,
communicating through
and like
like
Total Recall. We're having sex with helmets on our head.
yeah. I think honestly,
There's
we
no
are.
physical human touch.
We are getting to that point. Like it's just the reality of it. It's like I don't know.
it's freaky.
Yeah, it is. It's in some ways, as the geek in me, the geek
You can't
in
wait
me
for it.
is
Let's
like,
go.
oh,
Cyberpunk.
here we go.
Cyber calculus.
Oh, here we go. And then like the part of me that loves nature is all like, "Ooh, I don't know if this is, I don't know, So I don't know. Look, we'll see where technology goes. I just at the end of the day, we can't lose touch of who we are as human beings. And I think before we even get into the metaverse and things like that,
Terminator.
online
We have to
people
talk
need
about
to
Terminator.
learn how to be human beings. Just because you're behind a computer doesn't remove your empathy. Like that's one thing that really bothers me. Is like online you see so many people that can be so hurtful
So
Yeah.
cruel
to one another, and
yeah,
you just
nasty.
and it's just because they're behind an avatar or they're behind a computer, so they don't feel that same need to hold. I'm gonna say hold back but just to be human. It just they just unleash so much hate, and it bothers me. And you see, especially, I don't want to talk about it, but like in this world we live in, in the COVID world, where everyone is conflicted about like how they feel about it. Just the sheer anger people have towards one another, and the way they say it's just like, guys.
Because everyone's already turning into robots.
Yeah,
Like, you
just-
guys have no sense of, like, emotion, of, like you said, empathy. Like, everyone's just online and they're robots. They're
It's true, and chances are the same people that are saying this online you're probably conversating with them in real life.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not saying the same
Yeah,
things
Yeah.
that
they
they're saying
wouldn't. They
online.
wouldn't. They would be like, "Oh, nice to meet you."
They won't even look at you walking down the street. Like they're scared.
Yeah.
It's really sad. Like I see it happen. Like I get targeted. You know, like I'll put out, especially on YouTube for shorts. I'll put out like a video of like, you know, me creating a song, and I'm really proud of the process. And like someone will go like, "What's up with his hair?" I'm like, is that what you got out of this?
Like-
Is that what it's like the whole thing? What you got out of this is what's up with his hair?
But that's the whole thing. Well, first of all, the hair, that's why you're talking about it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's done strategic over here. He likes it, he wants it, and at the end of the day, you're talking about it.
Yeah.
So that's why the hair is there.
I was on a live yesterday, and people in the comments were like, "Why are your teeth so big?" I was like, "What are you talking about? Like,
why?
you have like nothing better to say? Like, why do people like to drag people down? I don't understand that. Like,
I think it's like we haven't heard that saying. Like, you know, if you have nothing good to say,
Yeah.
don't say it at all. Unless it's constructive and it's not mean and hurtful, you can say certain things.
Yeah.
like
But if you're just gonna have nothing good to say and
It's
it's
just-
literally just gonna
yeah, but it's coming to a point where it's like, if you have nothing good to say, you better shut the fuck up before I smack you across the face. Like, that's what it's coming to now online.
It is really sad. And I feel like it's one of those things where sometimes people, they don't feel good about themselves, and then they see you doing something that they're like, "Oh, that's really cool." And rather than them say
Like, oh,
"Hey,
that's really cool.
that's really cool, good job," they go like, in their heads, they go like, "Well, he's doing that, I'm not doing that, so I'm gonna make him feel small." And they'll be like, "What's up with your hair? Why is," you know, like, and you just like, it's sad because we're, again, it's the lack of empathy, and we're just losing sight of what it means to be human, you know. And if all we're doing is just finding ways to shit on each other, then what really are we doing? You know?
yeah. I think it's
We're robots.
it's a divisive plan that's put in play right now to turn us more and more
Against each
robotic
other.
against each other. Do
Divide and conquer.
Do you foresee the future getting better or worse in terms of these situations?
I think it can go either way. It can go either way, and it always because it depends on people. It depends on what we decide to do, and if we keep living in such a selfish me, myself, and I, it's the whole world.
Me,
is-
myself, and Steve.
The whole world
Steve
is,
too.
you know, the whole world is me, and like everything else is everything else, but it's me, 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 me. And of course, like, we're gonna go nowhere fast, because like the whole point of having a human race is that we're like a bunch of people, and like we can't move forward if we don't move forward together. So if we're all about like, no, it's about me, then yeah, the world will come crashing burn, because no one's gonna help each other. We're all gonna be out for ourselves.
I don't want to get political, but like living in Canada right now, like it doesn't help when our leader of the country is like,
We want Google Ads here, huh? So
I know, I know.
Might not want
I didn't want to like say anything that will get us whatever, but
demonetized.
and our
We love
leader
you,
is
Francois
literally
Legault.
like, he's spreading hate speech, and it doesn't make sense. Like, how? No kidding, people are gonna be angry and upset and turning on one another. Like, look at what we're looking up to. You know, that's all I'm gonna say.
I
It's like-
agree. I agree. Look, right now there's a lot of vitriol. How do you say it? Vitriol? Is that right?
I
think
a
so.
lot of bad
Vitriol.
juju.
Yeah.
Vitriol. I
Yeah.
don't know. Anyways,
Yeah.
Alex, put a little description next to the word I just said.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's all these things that are being circulated in the media, and it's turning into a very divided community.
Yeah.
People are they're hating their family, they're hating their friends, and it's very sad to see. If, let's say, out of obviously it's not going to happen, hypothetical situation, the pandemic is done tomorrow, everything's back to normal, what changes in Stephen's life?
Oh my gosh, I think what changes, I'm just gonna walk outside and breathe for like a second, just be like, take it all in. But honestly, everything I learned during the pandemic, I want to make sure that I bring it forward into a world that is free. And, you know, like, because there's so many things I learned. I opened up my merch business, my digital businesses. I learned how to be more prolific. I use that word, more prolific online, and build my brand as a business in the digital world. But like being forced to be stuck and be have less at my disposal really forced me back into a place as a creator where I had to be ingenious about what I do, or like find new ways. Because like, I remember when I first started making music and I didn't have the money to buy all the equipment I have now. I didn't have all the plugins. I had like maybe like 4 plugins on like a really wacky keyboard. But I put out songs with that keyboard. I did what I could. So like I took what I had and I found ways to take it as far as I possibly can by bending the rules, so to speak. So I feel like as a creator, we're kind of like, I'm back at that place where I'm like, okay, I can't go perform outside. I can't do that. So I'm limited, but what can I do? So it's been really giving me, it's reopened my mind to the beginning of my career where I had to be innovative, like, and think outside the box. So I want to take that, because I feel like whenever we get back to a comfort level, we tend to forget about innovation. We're like, oh, everything is good now, but like I want to always have that hustle mindset of like, that hustle mindset of like really constantly being ready to innovate past beyond what I have, even if what I have is more than enough. I want to be able to still go like, nah, I want to see if I can push it further.
That's a great way of thinking about it, and the fact that we're being put through this situation currently, and it just strengthens you as an individual.
Yeah,
strengthens your reserve and your resolve and everything like that. So definitely great hearing that.
Thank you.
Something that I wanted to mention, because Tech wanted to talk about this.
Oh,
what were we saying? Wave plugins.
Waves plugins, yes.
Waves plugins.
Yeah.
Tech Luciano wanted to talk about that.
Yes.
He kept seeing the ad, the sponsored ad and everything, and he thought it was like super cool and everything. What is that? Like,
I'll tell you what that is. I'll tell you what that is. So it's one of those things where like I always had this mindset of if you don't reach out and just ask a question, you're never gonna get your answer. Like if you're afraid to ask that question, then you never see any results, even if it's a no. If you want to collaborate with someone, for example, if you don't reach out to that person and say like, hey, I like what you do, I would love to work with you, then they'll never know that you want to work with them. So that thing will never happen. So it's one of the, so I as a musician, I worked with, FL Studios, where I used to produce my music, and in Waves is what I used to edit and mix. So one day I was just like, hey, I'm going to reach out to these companies and I'm going to say, look, I'm a musician. I live in Montreal. This is what I do. I've been using your stuff for so long. I would love to see if we could collaborate in some way, shape, or form. I just wrote the email to both companies and I walked away. And like a few weeks later, or I forget how long later, they both wrote back. And in FL Studios' case, they're like, yeah, we like what you do. We want to have you as one of like mention as one of our no, in their case, they're like, want to mention you as one of like our like a producer who uses our stuff, and then they promoted it, and like they put me on their page and all that stuff, and I was just like, that's mind blowing.
That's crazy.
Like I've been using FL Studio, and now they knew who I am, and they were like, yeah, we recognize you, and I was just like,
they're gonna give you your own pack soon.
Yeah,
the voice pack.
that has to be dope. And then Waves, I reached out to them as well, and then they reached back out, and they were like, yeah, we like what you do. Would you like to get on a call? And I was just like, yes, I would like.
Which accent would you like?
My manager will speak to you in a minute.
Yes, let me go get him.
My Nigerian dad's getting on this one.
Yes, my son would like to. So we got on a call, and then they offered me like a affiliate partnership. And ever since then we just been collaborating, and we actually filmed something recently. We're gonna film something else on Wednesday. I can't say what it is yet, but like, yeah, they represent, like they promote my stuff, and it's just mad. It's mine. It makes no sense in my brain, because I'm just like,
no, they did their homework. They saw your numbers, your reach, the music that you do, and everything. They're like,
yeah,
I like this guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's cool. He's
cool.
alright.
He's cool.
Trust me,
Peeps.
it's
We'll
mind-boggling to you, but not to us.
It's cool, peeps. But it's like it's almost like, for me, like these are the things I use for my career. Like these are the things I've been using. I'm a fan of what they do. So I hope I never get to the point where I get jaded, where like something big happens. I'm all like,
I'll remember.
Just another day.
I'll remember your humble interview here.
I hope I always get to that point where something cool happens. Like if Xbox was to reach out to me and go like, yeah, we want to put you in one of our video games, I'm gonna cry. Like I'm gonna be like, yes, please. Like I hope I never get to the point where I'm all like, okay, well, we'll see.
I hope you don't get to the point that we're walking down the street and you're like, Stephen, peasant.
peasant. How dare you? How dare you? Like I get it. Like honestly, like it's happened a few times, where like I get stopped and like people ask for autographs and stuff like that. I think I'm more excited about it than they are.
Yeah.
Like they're like,
well, you know me.
you're like, okay, you my autograph. I'm like all shaking. I'm like, yeah, who do I sign it off to?
Hey, that's not your signature. It's all squiggly lines.
Mark? Who's Mark? But like, yeah, like I just hope I never get to the point where like I'm not excited about things because it's fun. Like this is why we do what we do. I don't want it to ever feel like, because then don't do it anymore.
I agree. We're getting to that time of the day that we gotta hand you this gem over here. It's getting a little further and further
you know
away
what?
from.
Just
Okay.
get it yourself.
I just grab it.
Pick up
Grab
that
it
gem.
yourself.
Yeah.
So right now you're gonna hold this gem and you're gonna bestow some knowledge to the people out there, to the hustlers that
Oh,
want
snap.
it in every aspect of what you're doing: filmmaking, music, producing. Drop
Okay.
a gem on them.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say is that most of the time, the person standing in your way is yourself. Most of the time, you have to learn how to get out of your own way. It's easy, and it's easier said than done. But getting in your head and being afraid to do something blocks you from taking that step. So if you don't confront your inner self and tell yourself to move out of the way so that you can move forward, then you're gonna be forever stuck in the shadow of your own making. So learn how to get out of your own way.
Well said. My
I want to
brother.
clap for that one.
Well said.
Let's clap
brother.
for
Well
that
said,
one.
well
That was a
said.
good one.
Where can the people find Steve? Stephen Voyce. Where can we find you? Where can we see Me, Myself, and Steven? Where can we hear the music?
Honestly, you can find me on all platforms. I think the one that you should follow me on, because that's where I'm the most, is on Instagram. So just follow me on Instagram, Stephen Voyce, StephenVoyce. Follow me there, and I guarantee you're going to see everything else because I'm always on that platform, maybe to the point of mania. Yeah.
Instagram's where it's at. You heard it from the man here himself. Talia, Steven, we had a great episode.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody, for watching another episode of the Hustle Podcast. Salute.
You laugh and smile so phony. I'm way too far, you can't reach me, man. You don't like the way that I talk. You don't like the sway in my walk. I am not your type, I'm a bad man. I am not your type. Did your boy say? He said he likes the way I do it. I am not your type. Did your girl say? She said she gets up to my music. But I am not your type. You don't like my swag. You don't like the way that I talk. You don't like my way. You don't like the sway in my walk. You don't like my sway. I'm not your type. I'm a bad man. You don't like my style. I'm not your type. This jaded cannot hold me. My faded weak, I'm a lucid man. Your paper life is burning. Don't blame the heat on a wicked man. You don't like the way that I talk. You don't like the sway in my walk. I am not your type, I'm a bad man. I am not your type. Did your boy say? He said he likes the way I do it. I am not your type. Did your girl say? She said she gets up to my music.